Year 11 is the most important year ahead of you because it sets the foundation for Year 12. In fact, it was because of Year 11 that I was given the chance to completely change my life and go from a lazy student who procrastinated all day, who played games every single day, to someone who became an absolute disciplined machine, achieving a band 6 in all subjects, achieving a 97 plus ATAR, and making the greatest academic comeback that I've personally ever seen. And the way I was able to do this was through Year 11, because Year 11 gave me the chance to fix myself. It gave me the time I needed to fix my bad habits, to fix my mind, to learn how to study effectively, and forge myself to become the person who was able to become the Ducks of Year 12. So if you're a student right now who's about to start Year 11, please listen to me very carefully. This year is the most important year you have. Unlike what many other people try to say, Year 11 isn't a time to just slack off and waste. It's a time to genuinely get your head down and focus on becoming the best version of yourself. Because if you do that, I promise you, Year 12 will be way, way easier. If you use Year 11 right, then you can start Year 12 pretty much guaranteeing the ATAR you want. However, if you do what most students are going to do, which is completely waste Year 11, then Year 12 is going to be extremely difficult and you will not achieve the ATAR you want. So to make sure that you absolutely smash Year 11, in today's video, I'm going to share with you a complete guide from start to end on what you need to be doing to absolutely dominate Year 11. This video is going to be pretty long, but if you are serious about success, then please watch the whole thing. And if you can't watch the whole video, then that in itself is a problem, because achieving a high ATAR is much harder than watching a video. So without further ado, let's just jump right into it. Get your notepad, get your pen, and let's do this. All right, how to smash Year 11, the mini guide. This resource will go over how to smash Year 11 and use it as a way to prepare yourself for Year 12 so that you can essentially guarantee your dream ATAR result. And I genuinely mean this, okay? If you are serious about doing well on Year 11 and 12, you better watch this entire video and you better read this entire document multiple times. Now, if you stay to the end and you watch this entire video, however long it is, I'm going to show you how you can actually access this document so that you can, print it out or download it and read over it and have it as a reference for future. Okay. But without further ado, let's jump right into it. And look, by the way, if you can't sit through this entire video, Year 11 and 12 is going to be harder. Okay. Because Year 11 and 12 and studying and making an academic comeback is way harder than sitting down and just watching a video. Okay. So take this seriously and let's do this. Let's just jump right into it. So first things first, why is Year 11 important, right? It's important that I address why it's important, because otherwise you're not going to really have the motivation to get things done, okay? So you have to understand that Year 11 is the foundation for Year 12, okay? It gives you the chance to prepare yourself mentally and physically so that when Year 12 comes around, you're at a different level. Right? Without Year 11, I would have not done well in Year 12 and I would have not made the academic comeback that I made and achieved a 97 plus ATAR against all odds. And I genuinely mean this. Without Year 11, I would have not succeeded at all. I would have not changed myself. And I would have stayed the same lazy student who procrastinated, who played games all day. So Year 11, it's close to my heart, man, because it genuinely did allow me to improve myself, right? Now, you might be thinking to yourself, why is that? Like, why did Year 11 allow you to do so well? It's because Year 11 gave me the chance to fix my bad habits and form good ones. It allowed me to learn how to study effectively. It allowed me to reprogram my mind. It allowed me to correct my routines. And it overall allowed me to forge myself into becoming a Duck student. Okay, it allowed me to literally sculpt my mind, my habits, myself, which allowed me to smash Year 12, right? And just a fun fact, when I say Year 11 allowed me to do all this and do that, I didn't actually get good results in Year 11. My Year 11 results were actually average, right? So in Year 11, I was still an average student who was figuring things out, right? I was still stuck at getting 70 to 75% in my exams, okay? Because just for some context, if you're new to the channel here, I barely passed Year 7 all the way to the start of Year 11, right? So Year 11 was the first time I actually tried to improve myself. So, I didn't actually get good results, right? I still got 70 to 75%. I did study hard, but I still stuck at 70%. So the reason why Year 11 was able to prepare me so well for Year 12 was not because of the marks I got. It's because I was building myself up, right? This was the reason. The reason why I was able to do well in Year 12, despite being average in Year 11, was because I was building myself up, okay? And that is exactly what I'm going to share with you in this video here, okay? So, long story short, year 11 is extremely, extremely, extremely important. Do not waste it at all. Don't listen to anyone who says, "Oh, year 11 is not that important," or when I post one of these online, people always some hate in the comments says like, "Oh, it's not that important." No, it actually is. And if you're not a serious student, if you don't want to actually change yourself, just get off this video, okay? Because year 11 is genuinely important. Anyway, this is a visual representation of what year 11 really is. Year 11 sets the foundation for year 12, okay? Now, in a house or any building, if you have a good foundation, the building is good, okay? Good foundation means there's a good building, it's strong, it's going to hold itself up, it's not going to, get destroyed. But a bad foundation means a weak building and a building that will get destroyed, okay? And this is exactly how year 11 and 12 is. Year 11 sets the foundation for year 12, right? So that means if you have a poor year 11, you're going to result in a poor year 12. If you have a good year 11, you're going to have a good year 12. Exactly how a building is. If you have a poor foundation, the building is going to be poor. And if you have a good foundation, the building is going to be good, right? And one more way I can really put this, and this will really come together when I go through this document, is if you have a bad foundation, then like on an actual physical building, if you have a bad foundation, then it doesn't matter how good the other parts of the building are. At the end of the day, the foundation is bad, therefore the building is going to be bad. That's simple, right? So, important things to know for year 11. What are the important things that you need to know for year 11 before getting started, okay? Number one, year 11 results do not count towards your final ATAR, okay? They actually don't. Yes, you read that right. The results that you get in year 11 do not directly count towards your final ATAR, right? So this means that if you do poorly in year 11, it doesn't mean that you're screwed and won't be able to achieve the goal ATAR you want. Remember, I did average in year 11. I got average results, right? Now, you might be thinking to yourself, what the hell is this kid saying? So the marks don't matter, but then year 11 is very important. Well, what is this guy saying? Hear me out. Although the results you get in year 11 don't directly count towards your final ATAR, year 11 and what you do in year 11 indirectly counts and kind of determines the ATAR you're going to achieve in year 12, right? And, I'm not even joking. If I see how a student did in year 11, not in results wise, but in terms of what they did, I can tell if they're going to do well in year 12. And I've seen this happen multiple times, right? So why is year 11 important? Then if the marks don't matter, then why Lukeman am I trying to do so well in year 11 for? Why is it so important? It's because of this. Year 11, right? Your study habits, your mindset, your routines, your exam preparation strategies, all of that stuff will be the same in year 12 unless you change them. So although the actual marks don't count directly towards your final ATAR, right? The marks don't count directly. What does count is the mindset, the study strategies, the exam preparation strategies, like how you actually prepare for exams, the discipline that you have, your routines, all of that stuff, that's what counts towards your final ATAR. And that is exactly why, despite me not doing well in year 11, I actually did amazingly in year 12. It was because of this. It's because although the marks themselves weren't showing that I did well, I was fixing myself up, right? And yeah, like I said, this is why despite me doing average in year 11, I was able to still achieve my goal 8 times smash year 12, right? So that's the first thing you need to know about year 11 before getting started. Year 11 results don't count. The second important thing you need to know is that year 7 to 10 is nothing compared to year 11. Oh my goodness, I need to scream this one out. Year 11 is nothing like year 7 to 10, okay? If you've done good in year 7 to 10, do not think you've done or you're going to do well in year 11. Do not think that. Let me just say that one more time. I don't care if you're a straight A student right now. If you're starting year 11, do not think you've automatically succeeded and you're going to succeed. Do not let the ego get a hold of you, okay? Year 11 is a completely different ball game compared to year 7 to 10, right? During year 7 to 10, you could get away with using, the wrong study habits, having poor habits in general, barely putting in any work, cramming, all that stuff, all the bad habits, even if you're studying completely wrong. This is okay in year 7 to 10. You can somewhat get away with it. However, in year 11 and 12, this doesn't work. Like you really need to pick yourself up, and you really need to snap out of it for year 11 and 12. Okay. And I've seen this happen too many times. Okay. A student will, book a call with me and they will tell me in full complaint to me. I've had people actually cry on the call how they were getting straight A's all their life, right? Like someone will literally tell me, hey, look, man, like I've booked this call with you today because I've been getting straight A's all my life from the start of year 7 all the way to start of year 10. However, year 11 came about and I'm now getting C's and D's. Like I've actually heard this story many, many times, right? Students who literally have been good students all their lives, they're failing in year 11. And why is that? Is because, they got complacent. They got lazy. They thought, oh, you know what? I'm in kickback. I'm good. I'm smart. I'm in the gifted and talented class. It really gets a hold of them, and they don't actually try to innovate. They don't try to improve themselves for year 11. So they start year 11 doing the same things of year 10 and boom, down the drain, right? So final warning, do not think that because you did well previously, year 11 will be easy, okay? Do not be entitled to anything. You are entering a new battlefield, okay? Number 3, the last thing you need to remember, the last very important thing you need to remember before you start year 11 is do not be burdened by your past. Now, if you're new to the channel, let me just recount this for you. I was a terrible student from year 7 to 10, okay? I literally never studied. I got C's and I got D's, right? By the way, when I say terrible student, it's not just in terms of the results. Like I myself was a terrible student. I literally did nothing. I was known as that student who doesn't do anything, who's lazy, who's a bad student. I was known as that stuff. And if I had let my past burden me, I would have never locked in, right? So seriously, like no matter how bad your past has been, do not let your past determine your future, okay? Your past does not equal your future unless you stay the same. And let me just italicize this because this is very important. Your past will equal your future if you stay the same. So if you blindly walk into 11 doing the same things, not actually giving a crap about anything, of course it's going to determine your future. But if you really understand this, you're going to feel freedom after this. Your past, no matter how bad you've done in the past, and I'm a living example of this, please, it's not going to determine your future unless you stay the same. So as long as you change yourself, you're fine. Okay? So those are the 3 important things to know. Next thing, subject selection. Okay. So at the time of watching this video, you may have already selected your subject. You may have not selected your subject. Either way, it's very important to know this. First of all, how do you pick your subjects? Number 1, I'd recommend you look at any prerequisites that may be required for your goal university. Okay. Now, honestly, nowadays, there's only assumed knowledge. Okay. Most universities, based off of recent research I've done, they're pretty much all assumed knowledge, meaning there's no real prerequisites, but even assumed knowledge, right? So the first thing you want to look at is if you know your goal university, your goal degree, and look at any prerequisites. Now, this is not a mandatory thing to do because, some of you might not know what you want to study. That's fine. Second thing is choose the subjects that you are genuinely interested in and see yourself dedicating hours towards mastering. Now, I did forget to write this in here. I forgot to finish this off. But the reason why you look at any prerequisites is that you want to get these, you want to select these subjects first, okay? Select these subjects first. If you have a prerequisite that you need to do, you want to select that because that's pretty important, right? After that, you then want to choose the subjects that you're genuinely interested in. And by the way, if this doesn't apply to you, meaning you don't actually know what you want to study or what goal, just ignore what I've just said, right? But the second thing is choose the subjects that you are genuinely interested in and you see yourself dedicating hours towards mastering, okay? Keyword here, interest, which leads us to the next point. Do not pick any subject for its scaling, okay? Please listen to me very carefully because, I don't know, depending where you're watching this, some schools, they feed this into the mind of students. A lot of people online, I've seen other people out there create TikTok videos saying how do these subjects to maximize your ATAR. Like it's complete BS, right? Do not pick any subject based off only its scaling. Scaling is absolute BS in terms of achieving the ATAR you want. You can achieve any ATAR doing any subjects, okay? Any ATAR doing any subjects. So 99 ATAR, 95, 80, doesn't matter what your ATAR is. You can genuinely do well and achieve any ATAR you want by doing any subject. And you can even study at any uni you want doing any subjects, okay? You do not need to do advanced or extension subjects, or if you're in, VC, you don't need to do specialists, you don't need to do all the high level stuff to achieve a high ATAR. And this applies even if you're in it doesn't matter where you are, Queensland, Perth. You don't need to do those high level subjects to achieve a high ATAR. You don't need to do chemistry. You don't need to do physics. I did standard math and English. I done no physics. I done no chemistry, and yet I achieved a 97 plus ATAR. And I genuinely could have achieved a 99 ATAR, but it wasn't my goal. And the reason why I say I could have done that is because if you chuck my marks into an ATAR calculator, I'm like 3 marks away from a 99 ATAR, right? So the reason I'm saying that is to show that it's not like my subject stopped me from getting a 99. Does that make sense? So yes, this is how you pick your subjects, right? Now, I did forget to mention this at the start of this video. This whole guide of how to smash year 11 applies to any of you, whether you're in New South Wales, Queensland, Victoria, Perth, it doesn't matter, okay? Next thing, what to expect during year 11, okay? So far, just a quick recap. We've gone over important things to know. We've gone over why year 11 is important, important things to know, subject selection, and now what to expect during year 11. Okay, first of all, expect an increased workload. All right, in year 11, you're going to get more homework, you're going to get more exams, you're going to get more assignments. Everything's just going to be more. Okay, expect that. It's how life works. Okay, so make sure you expect that. And this also goes back to why year 10 is not like year 11, because year 10, you're not going to have that much workload, right? Second thing, increased stress and pressure. Undoubtedly, year 11 is going to be super stressful and you're going to have a lot of pressure on you. And the reason why is that it's because it's your first senior year and you're one step closer to finishing high school forever. And because of this, your stress will be super high. Your pressure is going to be really high because everyone's going to expect you to do well. Even your teachers, your own teachers are going to expect you to do well now, right? So keep that in mind, right? You are going to have increased stress. You are going to have increased pressure. Number 3, increased competition. Okay, many students actually start to click during year 11, which means they'll become more competitive and actually aim for that first rank, right? So this is very important. If right now you have a cohort, you're in year 10, you're about to go into year 11, and your cohort's kind of not giving a crap and all that stuff. I mean, I wasn't. When people get to year 11, they typically do get more competitive. So just have that in the back of your mind. And finally, greater independence. Okay, so year 11 comes with greater independence and responsibility for your own learning. Now, this does vary between schools. Some schools, they spoon feed their students with a golden spoon. But most of the time, year 11, you're more independent. You need to take things into your own hands, especially if you want to do well in school, right? If you don't want to do that well, then it doesn't really matter. Just rely on your teachers. But if you want to do well, you have to be independent, okay? Cool. So that's what to expect during year 11. Now, the mindset needed for success in year 11. This is by far the most important thing, all right? So what is a mindset? Now, there's multiple definitions of what a mindset is. However, I'm just going to include this definition. It gets the point across, okay? So your mindset is the underlying beliefs and attitudes that shape your thoughts, behaviors, and responses to challenges, okay? Now, mindset is the most important tool for success in school and life in general. I cannot emphasize this enough. In fact, if you haven't realized already, the title of this is a mini guide because, if I was to delve deep into each of these, this video would be multiple hours long because each of these in its own is very comprehensive, especially mindset, okay? So if you have any specific questions, make sure you let me know because that's important, right? So mindset is the most important tool for success because if your mindset isn't right, then nothing will be right. You have to understand that. And the reason why this is, the reason why your mindset is so important, the reason why it literally determines your marks is because of this. Your mindset leads to your thoughts. Your thoughts leads to your belief, and your beliefs lead to your actions. And what do your actions lead to? Your results, right? So if you see here, the start of this chain reaction is your mindset. So if you have a poor mindset, you're going to get poor results. If you have a good mindset, you're going to get good results. Do you understand that? So this means that if your mindset is bad, right? So let me just quickly annotate this. If your mindset is bad, right? But then you try to take action, your results are still going to be bad, right? Because when you try to take action with a poor mindset, it's impossible. It's actually impossible, right? Or even if you do it, it's not as effective because your mind is holding you back. But if you have a good mindset, that leads to good thoughts, that leads to good beliefs, that leads to good action, that leads to good results. Now, this is so important. Without going on a tangent here, a practical example for me personally is this. In year 11, I remember my first math exam. I was super dedicated to doing extremely well. I put in the most hours of study. I absolutely grinded my ass off. I woke up at 4 a.m. to study. I actually did. And I got 70%. That was below average. I think that was exactly average. It was actually an easy exam too. It's not like the exam was just hard. I just genuinely sucked at it. And when I got this terrible result, I realized the thing that was holding me back was my mindset, because all my life I wasn't good at maths. So my mind was influencing my beliefs surrounding maths, which at the time I believed that you're born with math skills or you're not born with them. I thought I was just stupid at maths, right? And because of that belief I had, the actions I took were limited. I did less practice questions. I didn't do the harder questions. I didn't actually open my mind and study more things. And that led to bad results. Even though it felt like I was doing the work, I actually wasn't, right? So that is why to truly excel in year 11, the most important thing you need is your mindset. Now, what is the most important mindset to have? It's the growth mindset, okay? Now, what is the growth mindset? The growth mindset is the belief that the abilities, the intelligence, and the skills that you have can be developed through effort, learning, and perseverance. This is very important to understand. The growth mindset, the abilities that you have, how smart you are, what you're good at, whether it's math, biology, PDH, whatever the hell it is, this growth mindset states that it actually can be improved through putting in the effort, through learning, and through just persevering despite failure. Right? Now, this is opposite to what is called the fixed mindset, where people believe that their talents and their intellect are set in stone and cannot be improved. Right? So, for example, you just genuinely believe that you suck at maths and that's it. Right? You just believe you're not good at reading, so you're not good at reading. Full stop. You can't do anything about it. Right? I hear this all the time, and I used to tell this myself, right? So an example of this, an example of both of these mindsets is, again, the math example. Let's say you failed a math exam. Someone with a growth mindset would believe that they can actually improve their math skills and their results to just practicing more and learning from their mistakes, right? So if someone with the growth mindset, fails their exam, it's not that they don't think that they're stupid at math. They just think that, okay, I failed my exam. There's something I did wrong. Let's just fix that and let's do more practice and let's work harder and let's change the way we do things and we can improve. Whereas someone with a fixed mindset just simply be like, oh man, I'm stupid at maths. I hate maths, right? And they just give up. This is a fixed mindset. And in fact, if you're watching this right now, hate any subject, whether you hate chemistry, you hate physics, I would argue that this is not all the time. Some people, even me, sometimes there's some subjects that you just genuinely don't like. That's fine. But I'd argue most people who say they hate a subject, they simply hate it because they didn't do well in it and they think they can't do anything about it. That's the truth, right? Cool. Now, why is this mindset, the growth mindset, specifically important for year 11 students? Like why, Lukeman, why out of all mindsets you pick this growth mindset, right? It's because you are going to make mistakes in year 11. You 100% are going to make mistakes. And if you do not have a growth mindset, when you make these mistakes, you are going to get extremely bogged down and you will give up. And that is the worst thing that you can do. Okay? Every single mistake that you make during year 11 is a chance for you to improve and get better for year 12. Okay? So if you do not embrace the challenge, if you do not love failure, if you do not seek improvement, you will never, ever achieve the success you're looking for, both in year 11 and in year 12. So please listen to me. You right now, a year 11 student who's either, who's about to start year 11, please understand that you are going to make mistakes. Get ready for them. And when you make them, don't cry in the corner. Get up and figure out what's happened and improve yourself. I've seen people in my own eyes mess up a year 11 exam. Just one exam they messed up and they've just completely gone off the rails. It's one exam. And to be honest with you, a lot of this isn't actually your fault because our schools nowadays, they program us to believe from a young age that if you fail a subject, it's bad. If you make mistakes, it's bad, right? But I'm telling you right now, you need this in order to improve. I made the most mistakes in year 11, okay? And if I gave up, I would not be here today making this video for you. So please continue, all right? Awesome. Now, let's go on to tips. Okay. Now, when I say tips, these I've just thought of like the most important things that I need you to do for year 11 to really prepare yourself. Now, by no means is this a comprehensive guide because once again, I've tried to include everything in the most brief and concise way possible that you can take action on from today. Okay. So let's just jump right into it. First thing I want you to do, please, is set goals. Okay, and by the way, this is actually I take that back. This is in a particular order that I actually want you to follow with, okay? Make sure you take action on this video. Number one, set goals, okay? The top students are goal-oriented. They know where they are going and they have a clear direction. This is where low-performing / average students fall short, including my older self, okay? Low-performing / average students, they have no goals. They don't set any goals and they just go with the flow. That's what all low-performing and average students do. They don't actually have a direction, right? And you tell me, if this sounds like you, then you really need to change it, okay? Let me just give you one example. When you sit down and study, when you do any form of work, do you actually plan what you're going to do, or do you just do what you feel like doing and you just go with the flow, right? Or another example is that every single day of your week, does it feel like it's just by chance and you just do whatever you feel like doing, or do you plan your week? If you said no to any of those, this is a sign that you don't have any goals. You're not actually you have no direction. And if you don't have a direction, if you don't set a goal, how the hell do you think you're going to achieve it? It doesn't make sense. It's like, imagine if I put a blindfold over you and I just told you to drive. Oh, Lukeman, where do I go? I don't know, just drive. Or imagine if you're just lost in the sea and there's no direction to go. Where do you want to go? You know what I mean? It's just stressful even speaking about it, right? So for year 11, make sure that you set what goal ATAR you're aiming for. And if you do not know exactly, that is fine, but at least set a rough estimate. The least thing you could do is set a rough estimate if you genuinely can't figure it out, right? And the reason why setting a goal ATAR is important is because it's going to allow you to gauge the effort that you need to put in. For example, if you're aiming for a 70 ATAR, not as much effort is required as opposed to aiming for a 95 ATAR, right? So how do you set the goal ATAR that you want to achieve? Number one, figure out what degree you want to study and at what university you want to study at, okay? So that's the first thing you want to do. And by the way, I forgot to include this here. If you don't know the exact degree, at least know the field you want to enter. Okay? So for example, let's say you have no idea what actual degree you want to study, but you want to study in the medical field or medicine field, right? That's, at least if you have that, then it's good. Second thing is you want to look up the university website that you want to study at. And if you don't know which one you want to study at, just search up all of them and then see what the ATAR requirement is, right? And then when you figured out what the ATAR requirement is, you want to add 3 points on top of that ATAR requirement. And now you have your goal ATAR. Voila, right? So let's use the applied example. Let's say that my desired university and course is, UNSW computer science. Following step 1, figure out what degree you want to study and at what university. Okay, I want to study computer science at UNSW. Okay, look up the university website and see what the ATAR requirement is. If you search it up by simply searching up UNSW computer science, you see that it actually requires a 90 ATAR. All right, step number 3, add 3 points. 90 plus 3 is 93. There we go. My goal ATAR is 93. That is your goal ATAR, right? Now, if you want to personally get higher than that, that's fine. By all means, you can aim higher, right? I think at my time, right, when I wanted to do medical science, okay, and that ATAR required, I think, a 93 too. However, I personally wanted a 95, right? And end up getting higher than that. But the point is, this is the minimum goal ATAR you want to achieve. Okay. Now, one last thing I want to add before I move on is I know some of you might not have any idea what degree you want to study and at what university. So what you want to do here is you want to know the field you want to enter. Okay. And if you're going to sit there and say, Lukeman, but I don't even know what field I want to enter, you do. Okay. Do some research, research it, watch YouTube videos. I'm sure you'll figure it out. Okay. Second thing is you want to look up the university website and see what ATAR requirement is. And in brackets, if you don't, for those of you, sorry, let me just put that. So basically what I'm trying to say here is that you want to look at the available degrees within the field and then look at what type of ATARs you're going to get. So for example, if you have a medicine field, there's many different degrees. You can do medicine itself, you can do pathology, you can do medical science, you can do physiotherapy. You want to list them all out and you want to see what the general ATAR range is. You want to look at the variety of different unis and then you want to add, just follow these 2 steps. Okay. If you have any questions about what I just said, make sure you ask me, but that's what you would do. Okay. Either way, you should have a goal ATAR. Now, quick note regarding goals. You do not need to aim for a 99 ATAR. Oh my goodness. I wish someone someone needs to tell you this and I'm honored for it to be me. When people set their goals, right, and you might be guilty of this, they automatically aim for a 99 ATAR for absolute no reason, right? And the reason is because of societal pressure, right? So you do not need to aim for a 99 ATAR. You do not need to aim for a 95 ATAR. Just aim for the ATAR that you actually want to achieve. Please, 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 please do not aim for an ATAR that you don't even want to aim for, but you're just doing it for the sake of your school, your friends, your parents. It is the silliest thing. I promise you it's not going to be sustainable, right? A successful ATAR, by my definition, is one that, number one, you're aiming for, and number two, gets you into your desired course. That is what a successful ATAR is. So if your course requires an 80 ATAR and you want to achieve an 80 ATAR, then that is your goal, and that is a very good ATAR. So, it's crazy. Some people look down on others who get like a 75 ATAR or 80 ATAR when that's what they're aiming for. If your course requires a 75 ATAR, why in the world are you aiming for a 99 ATAR? It's just a waste of time. You know what I mean? So, you don't need to aim for a 99. You can, 100%, by all means, go ahead. But I've spoken to so many students who aim for a 99 for literally no reason. They're just doing it to sound, for their parents, societal pressure and all that stuff. And what happens to those students who aim for 99 for no reason, they end up burning out, right? Because they don't even want it. This ATAR is for you, and the people you're doing it for, they're going to leave your life. Okay, this is for you, right? So yeah, don't feel pressure to aim for something you don't want, because that's a waste of time. Even me, I remember when I sat down and it was doing this practice. At first, I aimed for a 99 ATAR, right? But then I realized, wait, why the hell am I aiming for a 99? It doesn't make sense. I actually want a 95. That's what I need. So why am I aiming for 99? And that's when I put it back down, right? Cool. Action step: set your goal ATAR. Read this goal every single morning and night. So as you can tell, this is a very comprehensive, actionable guide. Make sure you're doing this, right? So set your goal ATAR. Before you continue with this video, set your goal ATAR and read this goal every single morning and every single night. Okay, cool. Next thing, it's my second tip. Craft a new and ideal life for year 11. Okay, actually one last thing before I continue. Regarding the goals, this is okay to change. All right, my goals went from aiming for a 99 to a 90 to a 95 to a 90. It's okay to vary. All right, so although you're setting your goal in year 11, it might change for year 12. It might stay the same. That's fine. All right, sorry, got off track. Number 2, craft a new and ideal life. Okay, so you want to become a new person in year 11, right? You want to become an absolute beast, right? You want to shock the world and make a huge academic comeback, yet you stay the same. How does that make sense, right? So we cannot let this happen. We cannot let you stay the same, because if you do that, then, nothing's going to happen, right? So the thing that completely changed my life is this. You must design your new life ahead of you, and you must optimize it to maximize your chances of success. So what am I talking about? Designing your new life, right? It's this. How do you craft a new life? Number 1 is to be aware of your current self, right? So awareness of your current self. I want you to open up a Google Doc, or use a physical book. And I want you to list out all the bad habits that you have, all the bad traits that you have, all the bad qualities that you have down. I want you to write this down physically, right? And this may feel very, very confronting, but it's required. And in fact, if it feels hard to do this, that's a good thing, because that's how you're going to improve. That's how you're going to improve. The first step to changing your life, the first step to smashing year 11, making a huge academic comeback, becoming a new person, is identifying what you need to change in the first place. How can you change when you don't know what you need to change? Doesn't make sense, right? So an example of this first step, awareness of current self, is this. For example, when I did this exercise at the start of year 11, here are some of my bad habits. Cramming, not caring at all, playing too many games. I was literally addicted to playing games, by the way. And sleeping in. That's some of the bad things. Obviously, the list was much longer than that, but that's some of them. Okay, so that's how I want you to do it. Once you've done this, and you can clearly see what you need to change about your current self, the next thing you want to do is evolve into your future self. Okay. Now that you have a list of all your bad habits, bad traits, and bad qualities, I want you to list out the new good habits that you want to form, the new traits you want to form, and the new qualities that you want to adopt and evolve into. So for example, if I was to list this out, it would be starting super early, loving school and studying hard, not playing games, not sleeping in. In fact, going to bed early, waking up early, right? Then number 3, I want you to map out your routines. Okay, so write out all the routines that you want to follow for year 11, right? You should have a morning, you should have an evening, you should have a study, and you should have a night routine. And if you need some inspiration, I'd recommend you watch this video. I made a YouTube video going over my personal 97 plus ATAR routines. You can have a watch of that, and that will help you create your own. But yeah, write this out. I have, in fact, my routine is right here that I use right now. I just have it stuck on my wall. And yeah, you need to follow your routine, right? And number 4, to craft your new life, is what I call a self-manifesto. This is life-changing, man. It really is. I want you to, again, open up a Google Doc, or you can use the same Google Doc, actually, or use a physical paper. And I want you to write out a comprehensive description of your ideal self. Who are they? Like, who is the person that you want to be? You right now, I know in the back of your mind, are aspiring to be someone, right? Otherwise, you wouldn't be watching this video. If you didn't want to change yourself, you would not be watching this video, right? So you in the back of your mind know who your ideal self is, right? What do they look like? What are they like? How do they behave? How do others see them? How do they respond to certain issues? This is cool, right? I want you to literally design a character that's for you, like you're playing a game, right? And here's a small snippet from my personal comprehensive description that I still have to this day. It's obviously very, very long, but here's some of them, right? This is a snippet I got out of it. And by the way, I wrote this at a time where I was just starting my academic comeback. So all this stuff at the time of writing wasn't true. That's the thing you need to know. At the time of me writing this self-manifesto, it actually was not true, okay? But it's what I tried to become, and thankfully I did, right? So what I wrote is, Luke Ben Arab is an extremely hardworking student who outworks everyone in his school. He's smart, stoic, and wise. He's a straight A student and extremely intelligent. By the way, I wrote this at a time when I was bloody getting C's and D's, okay? But that's the idea. It's my ideal self, right? Every single morning, Luke Ben wakes up at 5 a.m. in the morning, and regardless of how he's feeling. So regardless of how he's feeling, he gets up out of bed. He reads every single day. He studies every day, and he has extreme focus. He does not waste any time and does not listen to his weak emotions that tell him to give up. That's a very small snippet of something that's, continues and is very comprehensive, right? Okay. So that's the second thing. That's how you can craft and do your ideal life. And if you do this, your life is going to change, man. This is how you change your life. Please do it, okay? Number 3, planning and organization. So if you fail to plan, you're planning to fail. No one said it best. No one said it better than this, Benjamin Franklin, right? And it's so true. If you're not planning what you're going to do, then how, it just blows my mind. How are you not planning what you're going to do in a specific day? What do you even do? You know what I mean? So I really want you to get this exercise in play. During year 11, with the time you have, plan every single week. I want you to practice planning every single day, and I want you to practice planning every single week, okay? You don't ever want to start, and here's my challenge for you actually right now. You don't ever want to start your day without knowing what you're going to do. Now, you don't need to exactly know. You don't need to, doesn't need to be perfect, but you need to at least have a rough plan, like at least a rough plan, okay? Don't ever start your day without knowing what you're going to do. And do not study based off of feeling, study based off of your plan. So what most students do, what like 95% of students do, and once again, I was like this myself, is every single day, it's just a matter of chance. You know, okay, let's do some study today. What am I going to study? What do I feel like studying? Yeah, let's study that, right? It's just a matter of chance. You don't want to do that anymore. You want to actually sit down and plan, what do I need to do? What are the action points that I need to get done today? That's what you want to do. Okay. So regarding planning and organization, here are the action steps I want to follow. I want you to, number one, open up a Google Calendar, and I want you to block out and block in all your routines. So the morning and the night and the study routine that we just formed in this step number 2, I want you to block that in the Google Calendar. Okay. So that you always know what to stick to. Then I want you to use this template that I've created for you personally to plan your week. This is a very simple template. And it just shows you, like, this is how I want you to plan your week. It's very simple. Now, I personally use something called Notion. However, it's something. This is something that's more simple and easy to follow. Okay, so here's a weekly plan. Okay, I want you to use this template to plan your week and your day. For the tasks that you don't complete a specific day, for the tasks that you don't complete on a specific day, I want you to just move it to the next day. So, for example, this is the plan, right? So Monday, 20th of Jan, task 1, 2, and 3. When I finish task 1, I tick it off. When I finish task 2, I tick it off. If I don't finish task 3, I simply drag it on to next time, right? So that's what I want you to do every single week. I personally did this on a Sunday night. Just plan your whole week. And then every single morning, double check your plan and plan your day properly, right? And as you can see, here's a template that you can use. Continues. And when you want a new page, you can just copy and paste it again, okay? Number 3, I want you to purchase binders and shelves for each subject and store all relevant materials in there. Okay. Now, in terms of how you do this, it's really up to you. Have some fun. Open up Officeworks, open up a random website, and just search up binders, shelves, get one for each subject, and put that all in there. Okay. And finally, regarding the planning and organization, I want you, at the start of year 11, I want you to ask all your teachers to provide you with the scope and sequence / assessment schedule, whatever they call it. I want you to ask them to give it to you, and they should give it to you anyway, but I want you to ask if you don't. Then when you have the assessment schedule or the scope and sequence, I want you to write out and stick on your wall what assignments and exams are coming up. And by knowing this, you're not going to forget it, and you're going to be able to prepare well in advance. This in its own, like this step alone is going to get you so ahead of other students. Just by writing out what upcoming exams you have, what upcoming assessments you have, and just sticking it on your wall so you can always see it. Nice, that's number 3, planning and organization. Number 4, studying effectively, okay? There's a very high chance that you watching this video right now are studying completely wrong. In fact, 95% of students don't even know how to study, okay? In year 11, and listen to me very carefully, in year 11, if you are studying by taking notes, by reading over slides, by highlighting, by rereading your notes, by rewriting your notes, by doing a few textbook questions here and there, you will not perform at a high level, okay? Because all of these above study methods are passive. And passive means that your brain isn't being engaged with, and hence none of the information you're reading will be remembered nor applied effectively in an exam over a long period of time. Yeah, sure, you might remember the information for 2 hours, but you're going to forget it the next day very quickly, okay? So in order for you to study effectively, and I want you to actually do this in year 11, please do it. You must use active methods of studying that actually engage with your brain and allow you to have that long-term memory retention and easy application. So examples of active study methods is, for example, flashcards. You know, use a software like Anki, Quizlet to create flashcards and review them daily from your textbooks. Active recall questions. You know, create questions for yourself using Notion or even Google Docs. That's pretty much the same as this. The Feynman technique. You know, teach the information. As soon as you learn something, teach it to someone else. I used to do this by just speaking loud. I actually have a board right behind me if you can see it. I used to use the Feynman technique by literally standing up here like a weirdo and just talking to no one and making it sound like I'm teaching a class, right? That was extremely effective. You know, blurting, writing down what you know from memory on a blank sheet of paper and then correcting yourself for the stuff you've forgotten, right? So you learn something, you look away, you open up a blank piece of paper, you write what you've remembered, everything you forget, look back at the textbook, write it in red, right? And then past papers. This is the best method out there to study with. Okay, and I have videos on that and how to do that. And regarding how to study effectively, once again, if I was to delve on this right now, this video would be 6 hours long. So I'd recommend you also watch this YouTube video where I go over more of how to actually study. Okay, but please learn how to study effectively, and you can do that by going on my YouTube channel. And just please actually do it. Like, study effectively. Okay, stop studying by using these garbage techniques. Okay, number five, the fifth tip. Okay, use your syllabus. This is extremely, extremely important. During year 7 to 10, the syllabus isn't really important and no one really cares. Okay, so from year 7 all the way to year 10, if you say syllabus, like, you don't even know what it is, right? No one cares about the syllabus. However, in year 11 and of course in year 12, the syllabus is actually extremely important, right? The syllabus, if you don't know, is a document that outlines all the content you'll be learning in a specific subject. So for example, here's the year 11 biology syllabus for New South Wales, okay? By the way, if you're in Victoria or Queensland or Perth, I'm pretty sure they call it a study design. It's the same thing. So if I open this up, this is the biology syllabus for New South Wales students, right? Open this up, and as you can see here, it just shows you what you're learning. So module 1, you're learning this, okay? This is what you're going to learn. Cell function, you learn this, right? Cell structure, you learn this, blah, blah, blah. You get the idea. Now, the reason why the syllabus is so important, the reason why I'm emphasizing and even writing in brackets very important, is because you cannot be tested on anything outside of the syllabus, right? This means that every single exam question you get in an exam, you have to get it within the syllabus. It cannot be outside of the syllabus. In fact, it's actually a legal requirement for a school and for the state in general to test you on things that the syllabus actually addresses, right? So with that being said, why the hell aren't you looking at the syllabus? It's your literal GPS of what to learn, right? That's why I'm sick of students saying to me like, oh, when I do an exam, I do bad because my teacher didn't show me or teach us this. That's your responsibility. You have the syllabus. You should know what you're going to be taught, right? So here are the action steps I want you to follow. I want you to print out the syllabuses or study design if you're in Victoria or Queensland or Perth for all your subjects. And the way you find the syllabus or the study design is simply by searching up year 11, whatever subject, syllabus, and then you can even add, the state, right? So for example, if you're in New South Wales, year 11, biology syllabus, New South Wales. If you're in Victoria, year 11, biology, study design, VCE, right? Just literally Google it, you'll find it. Now, once you've Googled it up, I want you to, once again, print it out. You can print it out by just, printing it here. I then want you to go through each syllabus for all your subjects. This might take long, but trust me, it's worth it. And I want you to read through it in its entirety. And the reason why this is important to do is because you're going to literally see, even though you have no idea what you're reading, you're going to see what you're going to learn, right? So for example, let's say, at the start of year 11, this is for biology. Read this whole thing, right? So for example, in year 11, biology for New South Wales, we're going to learn, okay, we have 4 modules. Module 1 is cells. Module 2 is organization of living things. Module 3 is this. Module 4 is that. Okay. Read through this. Yeah, whatever. Right. So just read through the syllabus, right? And I recommend you actually print it out and highlight the stuff too. So for example, I want you to read this. I want you to read through this, read through this, read through that. Like, read through all of this stuff and highlight any key points, right? So for example, if I read through this, I would see that, okay, what distinguishes oneself from another? Okay, that's the overarching theme. Prokaryotic, eukaryotic, like highlight the stuff. And I want you to do this physically by printing it out. And then when you actually start year 11, as you learn each topic, just check it off the syllabus so that you've covered it already, right? So once I've learned this in class, tick it off. Or learned by yourself, tick it off. Awesome. Number 6, I promise we're nearly done here. And by the way, for you who are still here watching this video, you are absolutely soldiers. Okay, you're going to smash year 11. I'm sure a lot of people have already given up watching this. So you are taking this seriously. Number 6, preparing for exams. So in year 11, of course, you want to make sure you're preparing for exams properly, because if you don't prepare for exams properly, you're not going to do well. Okay, and I learned this the hard way for maths. I prepared so hard and I still got 70%. That's because I prepared wrong. Now, in terms of how do you effectively prepare for exams in year 11, just watch this YouTube video, okay? I've made a whole YouTube video on this. I think it's like 30 minutes long or something, or something like that. I literally go step by step what to do, okay? Number 7, mental health, okay? So in year 11, you don't want your mental health to go down the drain, okay? And it's actually very easy for that to not happen by just following these steps. So how do you take care of your mental health during year 11 and prevent burnout so that when you get to year 12, you're still killing it? It's simply by doing this. Number one, fix your goddamn sleep. Aim for 7 to 8 hours every single night. Number two, fix your diet. Don't eat high sugary foods for breakfast. Don't eat quick release carbs. Now, in terms of more diets, do your own research there. I'm not a nutritionist here. But yeah, fix your diet. Don't just eat crap. Number three, exercise. I want you to exercise 3 times per week, every single week minimum. Now, this doesn't have to be some crazy gym workout. I didn't even do gym in year. I do it now, but I didn't do gym in my year 11 and 12. I just did home workouts, right? So even if it's a 10-minute walk, just do that 3 times a week. And I'm sure you can do more than that. Come on. And then have a rest day. So I want you to look through your week and I want you to choose one day during the week for just rest. So for me, it was Friday. Every single Friday, it was my rest day. And that means on that day, I did nothing. I just rested, I relaxed, I just watched Netflix. And the reason why that was so important is because of this. Use your weekends, okay? The reason why I purposely designed Friday to be my rest day was number one, it's end of the week. And number two, it prepared myself to use the weekends properly. Something that people sleep on. The weekends are your golden opportunity to get ahead in everything and revise. So this is why my number 8 tip for year 11, smashing year 11, is to use your weekends. Okay? Most people in your cohort won't even study on the weekends. They will literally use the weekends to do nothing. Now, this is good because it means that while everyone else is having fun and partying and doing whatever the hell they're doing, you can actually have a serious advantage over them by just doing a little bit of work, right? So don't use the weekends as your chance to bludge. Use them to get ahead and review the material. Now, am I saying you have to study all day? No, even 3 hours on the weekend, split among a whole day, you can still get so much done, okay? So those are the 8 tips for smashing year 11, okay? I hope I haven't blown your brain off yet. We're nearly done, I promise. Now, to wrap up this video, I want to share with you common mistakes to avoid, okay? These are the mistakes that pretty much all year 11s make, and it's very sad to see, okay? And I don't want you to be one of them. Mistake number 1 is putting 100% effort into year 11 from the beginning, okay? Achieving your goal ATAR is a marathon, not a sprint, okay? And a big mistake that students make is that they go all in with 100% effort from the beginning of year 11, and then they just burn out for year 12, right? This is very common. So I want you to start small, and I want you to gradually increase over time, okay? I know you might be pumping with motivation, but please don't go 8 hours of study straight away. So for example, me, I started off with just studying 1 hour a day in year 11. Then over time, it increased to 2 hours, then 3 hours, okay? So yeah, it's a marathon, not a sprint. I mean, if you're in a marathon and you start running with all your intensity at the very beginning, you're not going to finish the marathon well, okay? So that's the first mistake, putting in 100% effort from the beginning. Second mistake, not taking year 11 seriously. Now, I hope this isn't you because you're watching this very long video, but remember, year 11 is a preparation for year 12, and it will literally determine year 12. So if you decide to slack off and do nothing, you will be impacted and you will not succeed in year 12, okay? Now, when I say slack off, I don't mean in terms of results, I mean in terms of you, okay? Remember, I did average in year 11, the marks don't count. However, when I say slack off, I mean you not working on yourself, you're not studying effectively, you're not fixing the way you study, etc., right? Mistake number 3, putting too much weight on exams and assignments. Oh man, this one drives me insane. Year 11 results do not count towards your final ATAR. You need to understand that. Year 11 results do not count towards your final ATAR. So don't get so upset every single time you don't do well in the exam or assignment. Like, don't get so upset, okay? You might think this doesn't impact you, but when you stress so much over year 11 results, you end up developing this extreme fear of failure that makes it really hard for you to improve because you're avoiding everything. Just like, don't care if you do bad in the exam. Literally just embrace every mark you get and just learn from it. As long as you've learned from it, you're doing well. And that leads on to the 4th mistake, actually, which is not learning from mistakes. Mistakes will definitely happen in year 11, as I've said. And when it does, you have 2 choices. Number 1, you ignore the mistake and you trick yourself into thinking it will improve over time. Or number 2, you ruthlessly figure out why you made the mistake and you actually learn from it. Okay? Please choose the second option. Remember, every single mistake will bring you closer to success, and it really will, but only if you learn from it. If you don't learn from it, it's a waste of time. Fifth mistake to avoid in year 11 is complacency. Now, when I say complacency, there are two types of complacency. There's two types of complacent people that are in year 11. Okay, the first type of person is the student who always has done well in school and they now believe that they're automatically going to ace year 11. Okay, these people end up failing year 11. Okay, don't do that. The second type of complacency, the second type of mistake I want you to avoid is that you do well in year 11. Let's say you do well in year 11. That's good. Don't automatically think you're going to do well in year 12 because, again, that's complacency and you're not going to end up getting the ATAR you want. And the final mistake that's very common and I want you to avoid as a year 11 student is cramming. Oh man, please, please, please do not cram for your exams and do not leave things to the last minute. During year 11, please develop the habit and practice getting things done very fast and early. Like practice starting your assignment the day you receive the notification, not the week before. And practice studying for your exams 4 weeks before, not 3 days before. Like these little things, I cannot emphasize, you're going to get ahead of 99% of people in your school. This is how I was able to absolutely dominate the people in my school. It was through this. Like when you get an assignment, start straight away. Don't wait so long. Okay. Same with an exam. Cramming and leaving things to the last minute saps your potential like crazy. So do not do it. Okay. This has been an extremely long guide. And the funny thing is this is a mini guide, right? These are my final words to wrap up this video. These are the final words from me, from someone who went from literally getting D's and C's all their lives to achieving a 95 plus ATAR against all odds. Okay, these are my words to you. Year 11 is your time to become that student. It really is. Like this, your time is now. It's time to really pull your socks up and get things done. If you failed year 7 to 10, year 11 is your chance to fix yourself entirely so that you can make the greatest academic comeback for year 12, just like how I did. I'm not any more special than you are. I'm not smarter than you. I just fixed myself. So you can do the same thing. It doesn't matter what school you go to. It doesn't matter what your situation is. So please do not mess around this year. Like do not mess around. I want you to treat this year very important. But at the same time, don't stress yourself too much. Okay, I might sound contradictory, but there's a balance here. Yes, take this year very, very importantly, but don't stress yourself out to the extent that you're literally like crying every day, right? But yeah, seriously, you've got this. I'm rooting for you. Let's do this. Let's actually smash year 11. Okay. I hope you enjoyed this guide. If you want even more help from me, I'd recommend you watch these other YouTube videos that I've created. It really all ties into this video. Honestly, if you're serious about success, I'd recommend you watch every single one of these. I wish I had these. And now finally, if you want to get access to this document so that you can flick through it, I know you're definitely going to have to go over this document again after this video because it's been pretty long. In order for you to access this document, all you have to do is click the link down below and join my free community, the Dux Club. And once you join the free community, it's going to be in there in the classroom tab. And then you can access the document there. Okay, it's completely free to join. Don't worry. I'm not going to charge you anything. It's a completely free community. It has over 700 students. Just link below, press join group, make an account, join. You're going to be inside my free community and you're going to be able to access document. And also the other benefit is you're going to be able to ask questions. I'll be able to answer you and etc. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this video. It's been a very, very long video. And if you've stuck around to the end, you're an absolute bloody weapon. Okay, and you deserve success. Okay, I'll see you in the next one. Let's do this. Make me proud. Let's do it.